Hello everyone, my name is Hui and this is my final presentation for HCA 312 with Professor Brenda Freshman on the topic of compensation for registered nurses in Orange County, California. Starting off with the learning objectives, throughout the process of making the presentation, I have learned about the concept of what is compensation. Why is it important to have an effective and strategic compensation system, along with learning about having a successful compensation decision-making process will benefit a healthcare organization in the long run. Also for audience, by the end of this presentation, you should be aware of what is a compensation, why is compensation important for employees, and also the organizations itself. And also, I will also be giving a discussion on the current challenges along with a potential solutions for them. Moving on onto the introduction, with the definition of compensation. In general, compensation is all of the rewards that an employee will receive in return for their work and contribution to an organization. Specifically, an employee compensation will typically include wages, salary, or tips, and it would be provided to the employee as a base pay or variable base depending on the organization. Compensation is important for employees and also for the organizations to decide what is best to meet the needs of an employees and for their contribution, because inequity in compensation could result in a job dissatisfaction, and also it is crucial to not letting employees quitting on a position just based on compensation. It is critical to provide a livable wage for employees to support their financial needs. In healthcare system, a study has been done stating that a great compensations would give positive outcomes for nurses as they have less job dissatisfaction and their intention to leave the organization. Besides, a well-paid nurse is considered a better nurse because they are truly caring, more skilled and more qualified to perform the difficult duties of a nurse, which means they deserve a better compensation for themselves. With the case issue for Orange County, one of the main challenges of compensation in a healthcare setting is that it does not meet the monetary or wage expectation of the employees, considering of the nurse shortages across of the United States. Registered nurses who live and work in Orange County or California, in Southern California, experience high pressures with a shortage of nurses, along with a high cost of living for middle-class incomes. It is even claimed back in 1990, registered who worked in hospitals in the state of California had wages that could not keep up with the inflation rate, which influenced the unions that they work for, representing the registered nurses, to demand a higher pay for them just to keep up with the increasing cost of living. This has put on the local healthcare system an immense pressure just to provide the need for a better incentive bonuses and a higher compensation to combat nurse staffing shortage. So as mentioned, Orange County has had the current demographic of the problem of having a growing population of older adults and with not enough registered nurse personnel. So to solve the issue that we have in Orange County, one of the short-term solutions to resolve the issue is to increase the compensation by providing competitive salaries during the process of recruiting and retaining the registered nurses in a high demand markets for nurses like Orange County of California. And it also applied this to the current nurses of participating hospitals during the study, and it's just not for the newly recruited nurses, although the new recruits might be eligible for a sign-on bonuses. As a result, this temporary solution has brought attention to more nurses who are currently in the field and to apply for the position, along with a potential long-term outcome of having more individuals to be interested in the nursing profession as they think that they are being more valued. In conclusion, a compensation is a super critical factor for registered nurses in general, and for registered nurses in Orange County. It will determine the quality, the determination, and their skillfulness of the hired registered nurses. It is a key to encourage Orange County registered nurses to work effectively together and to retain the best people by encouraging them through a better compensation. While it remains up to the organization compensation decision-making process to determine the value of nurse profession and how they should be paid. There's no doubt that this profession is extremely difficult and demanding. So the registered nurses should be satisfied and decide to work for an organization or not. It should be depend on their compensation. And there will be future research and policy suggest the consideration for the performance of registered nurses in determining their appropriate compensation package as well. That should be the end of my presentation on the topic of compensation for registered nurses in Orange County. These are some of my references, and thank you for listening.